He's the son of a champion jockey and is the latest recruit to Hong Kong racing and is trying to follow in the footsteps of likes of Douglas White, Vandercook, Robbie Fradd and Basil Marcus, who've all tasted the biggest success here in Hong Kong racing. This is what we've got coming up on HK Direct, and we're joined by Aldo Domeyer, top South African jockey, who's the latest jockey to come to Hong Kong. We'll be talking about his career and his experience so far here in Hong Kong. Aldo, it's great to have you in the studio. Welcome to Hong Kong and to the show today.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Your career as a jockey wasn't necessarily a straightforward one. I want to go back to 2003. You were rejected by the Jockeys Academy there. What happened?
Yeah, I spent a couple of months in the Jockeys Academy and yeah, things didn't go as I planned. I was always keen on learning and doing a couple of things, but I think the riding master just felt that I perhaps didn't have what it took at the time to make it as a career in racing. And yeah, I suppose it was just a little bump along the way, but yeah, it just made us a bit stronger and just gave us something to fight for.
Did it dent your enthusiasm, your desire to become a jockey?
No, definitely not. I think it perhaps just got the fire burning a little bit more. If there's something someone tells you can't have, I think it's in human nature for us just to fight to get it a bit more, you know. And yeah, I'm really kind of glad it happened because it gave me an opportunity to learn how to fight, and yeah, it's taken us places.
You joined the Jockeys Academy then in 2007. 2010, you're champion apprentice in South Africa. You mentioned you had the fight. What did you have to do, though, in those 7 years to really turn things around?
Yeah, listen, it was 4 long years. I suppose when you're a young kid, it doesn't really matter at that stage, but it gave me opportunity to gain a bit of experience, well, quite a bit of experience versus other guys that just gets to the academy and signs their papers a year later. I built a lot of good relationships with a lot of good people, a lot of good stables, a lot of good trainers, Mr. Bass and his daughter Candice Bass, to name a couple, and yeah, it gave me perhaps a head start on the other guys when I did get the opportunity to show what I was capable of, and yeah, it gave me a good start to my career. I started with a very powerful stable at the stage, away from Cape Town, who was Charles Laird, and he was a really successful trainer, and he basically gave me my first job, and yeah, that was just my platform to take off, and yeah, I haven't looked back since.
I mentioned at the top of the show, your father's Andrew Fortune, champion jockey in South Africa. For you, was there extra pressure on you following in his footsteps?
Yeah, I think early on, you know, obviously his big footsteps to fill. He was a real, and still is, he's a real natural horseman. And if anyone ever watched him ride, you know, he made horses do things that not too many people could do. And yeah, I think initially I had to just work my way out of his shadow. And eventually I just let go of that tag and just try to build my own legacy and do things my way. And once that happened, I think the ball started rolling a bit more frequently and a bit more freely. And yeah, he was always there to mentor and guide me along the way, and he was quick to jump on any sort of mistakes. Doesn't matter how many winners I rode on the day, he'd focus on where I could improve, and it's something I didn't enjoy at the time, but it was something that I needed. And yeah, he kept on grinding away, and slowly the criticism just stopped. And I think bit by bit I could feel that I was getting the hang of the wheel myself, and yeah, I think he could identify that too. And I think up until the last couple of seasons, things have gone really smoothly, and yeah, I think now he's back in my corner.
So you've got your father in your corner. Mentioned before as well that South Africa's produced some amazing jockeys over the years. Here in Hong Kong, we've seen what Douglas White has done, Vandercook, Robbie Fradd, Basil Marcus further back, Barty Leisha. Who were the jockeys, apart from your father, that you sort of modelled yourself on or looked up to when you were coming through the ranks?
Just, you know, someone like Mr. Marcus, you always got to admire. You know, he used to make things happen. If a door didn't open, he'd find a way, you know, and that's always a sort of characteristic that you got to keep in mind and mold yourself on. And someone like Dougie White too, he just constantly wanted to improve, and his improvement was constant, and over the years he just got better and better by what I saw. You know, I was obviously young watching him progress in his career, but it was always something that you'd admire. So gentlemen like those, always something that you could keep in mind and mold yourself on, like I say.
Let's have a look at some of the career highlights so far, because you are only young. I'm sure there's plenty more to go on the highlight reel, so to speak. But Cape Town is home for you. The biggest race there is the J&B Met. You won it in 2013 on this horse here, Martial Eagle. Wide draw, 80 to 1 chance. What was this day like for you?
No, this was amazing. As you can see, it's really going really smoothly. This is the biggest race, well, one of the biggest races in Africa, and coming past the 400, this race is basically laden with quite a number of champions in there, and this was his first time over the trip, and there was a lot of stamina darts there, but everything building up to it was basically a really smooth prep. The horse had 1 year variety club. He finished a length and a half behind him, so he had all the credentials to do it. I think 80 to 1 was perhaps just due to the testament of the quality of the field. The runner-up ended up winning the Met next year. Jackson's a sire now. There's a multiple champion filly there, so this was an exceptional win from this horse. I think the initial intention was for him to drop out because of his draw, and some reason or another I just decided to bounce him, and I basically rode a Hong Kong race here, and he got in a nice position and everything just panned out, and I think it was written in the stars that we won that race, and yeah, it was an unforgettable moment.
Looking at you, talking to you now, I can see how much that meant to you. Where does that stack up in your career?
Well, I must say that it was a career-turning moment for me, because everything basically just, I can't say take off, because there's been a lot of moments in my career that I think was key factors to turning, to just stepping up, you know. Like I said, I never like to put a limit on where I think we could go, because you always want to better yourself, you always want to improve, and this was one of those moments that just took my career to another level, and from there I started breaking into the top 7 nationally, and then to top 5, and like last year to the top 3, and then winning championships, and these were one of those moments. And yeah, the funny thing is I couldn't remember for the next couple of days what happened, but it was just a really special moment, and you can't put words to it, and that's one of the key moments in my life.
As you say as well there too, top 3 last season in South Africa, which led to a berth in the PGI Jockeys Challenge in Singapore. Taking on some top jockeys there like Hugh Bowman, Joe Moreira, Kieran McAvoy. You won the Jockey Challenge that night though there at Kranji. Just tell us a bit about that night.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, we walked in and you always see these names on a really big stage, and they all had a nice, cool demeanour about him. I remember Joe coming in, and he was perhaps the real key thing of the challenge, and one by one we were getting introduced, and Joe walked out and the crowd just went crazy. So yeah, it was a lovely stage to be able to display your talents, if you want to call it that. And yeah, I didn't have the greatest rides on the night, but yeah, everything seemed to work out quite well, and we ended up pulling off the Victor Ladorum, ended up winning the challenge, which was quite nice, and I think perhaps a catapult to getting a stint here.
When did it dawn on you, when did it become on your radar that you wanted to come and ride here in Hong Kong?
You always have your eye on Hong Kong, you know. Like I say, it's just up to you as a rider to decide when you feel you're ready to compete here and when you've really mastered your skill. Hong Kong's always something that you want to do. It's always in the corner of your eye, and yeah, I just felt that the time was right. I think I started getting the hang of things more frequently back home, and yeah, I've left a lot of top horses back home, but I just felt the time was right.
Hasn't taken you long to make an impact here either. Your first night, 3 rides, 2 winners. That was a dream start.
No, definitely. I think we still had our work cut out, but yeah, those opportunities, they come around, and you've got to make the most of it. And yeah, I was determined to make the most of it. I just told myself that this is just another evening to the rest of the guys, just another meeting, and I just got to make the most of it and make it an important meeting for me. And I was quite determined, and things worked out quite nicely. I read about the notorious history of Happy Valley, and I didn't want to take too much in mind to it, and just ride the horses as they were and ride the course for what it was. And it seemed, funny enough, it actually turned out quite nicely because the horses managed the course quite well, and credit to Mr. Mullard for the opportunities he gave me, and yeah, it's always nice to come out on top in the evening like that.
Grant Vandercook is someone who came through the jockeys ranks with you back in South Africa. He started here at the start of the season. He's the godfather to one of your sons.
Yeah.
What sort of advice or opinion or feedback or any of those sort of things did he give you about coming to Hong Kong and riding here?
He was actually the one telling me, listen, I really think that your riding style will suit Hong Kong, and I really think you should make your way here. And I thought he was just saying that just for a bit of encouragement. And yeah, eventually more people started saying the same thing, and I thought maybe I should just sit up and think that perhaps now is the right time. And I wasn't exactly sure if I would get accepted, But yeah, the opportunity came knocking, and yeah, I welcomed it quite freely. Grant's quite a good, naturally talented boy, and yeah, we've come through from the academy days, and we've been best friends for a very long time, and it's nice to be competing on a stage like this now.
Before the show last night, you rode a winner, Ever Brave at Happy Valley, taking you to 3. You're contracted until the end of this season. Do you get a good feel for how things are going here? Would you like to call Hong Kong home for longer than just this stint?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's more to come. Obviously, the more time you spend here, the more you improve and get the nicks of things. I think I've adapted quite quickly, which is something I'm really pleased about, because if you don't get the hang of it, it's going to become quite tricky. And after the second meeting, I was a little concerned that obviously I need to interpret things a little bit differently, and I really just started doing some real fine-tuning, just picked a couple of brains, and things that started making sense to me I started applying, and yeah, it made things a lot more comfortable last night, and I think I was getting a lot closer. The winner second, and other horses getting in position that I needed to be in on what we know is quite a tricky track, and yeah, I need to now start taking that over to Sharton. I was close to having a winner or two there as well. So
I thought you won watching that race, Refined Treasure.
Yeah. Listen, he ran at 55.2. I couldn't ask him to go any quicker, so it was quite exciting. It would have been nice if we got up, but I was very pleased with the result nonetheless. And yeah, I think it's something big to come from that specific individual. And yeah, I think I'm finding myself in a decent position at the moment. I just got to make the most of it.
Do you like Hong Kong as a city to live?
No, definitely. I really love how efficient everything is efficiently everything is done. I appreciate and enjoy the way they take care of their staff and their sportsmen. You know, it's something I think the rest of the world can pay attention to, because I think getting that sort of treatment, you really give everything you got, and yeah, it's really pleasing.
That's racing. Away from racing, though, your father's been here visiting. You've got 2 sons. Just tell us, what's life like for you, Aldo, away from the racetrack and horse racing?
Yeah, I love spending time with my boys. They're really the joy of my life, and this is really something new to me, to being away from them. I'm a proper family man, and but this is a sacrifice you got to make to take the next step in your career, and this is an opportunity that only comes around once in a lifetime. Yeah, I'm just trying to make the most of it, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they're really proud of how things have gone, and yeah, perhaps they'll be up here soon with me too.
I'm sure they will be proud of you. Thanks very much for taking the time to talk to us, Aldo. All the best for this stint and for whatever lies beyond that. Thank you very much.
No, I really appreciate the time, and it's a real honour being here.
Thanks to Aldo Domeyer for joining us here on this edition of HK Direct. We're racing on Saturday at Sha Tin. We've got a 10-race card to look forward to, where the Hong Kong Jockey Club Community Trophy is the feature event, race 4. The highest class race is the last, a Class 2 over the mile, featuring the undefeated Champions Way, who's 5 from 5. For more information, go to the website, and also at HKJC_racing through social media. That's it for this edition of the show. Thanks for your company. Next week, next Friday, we'll be looking at the final Group 1 for the season, the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup. We look forward to seeing you then.